Hey guys, I want to talk about freelancing supply and demand today. The simple fact of the matter is that no matter what a struggling freelancer will tell you, there is more demand for freelancers than there are freelancers to go around, and that's in every industry. And businesses are particularly looking for full-time freelancers. Obviously, they're looking for skilled freelancers, people who know what they're doing, but businesses are wanting to work with freelancers. Businesses like to work with freelancers because it gives them flexibility. It gives them, and full-time freelancers, it gives them the opportunity to work with them on ongoing projects. Businesses like having a stable of freelancers that they know that they can rely on, so that they have the ability to work on tasks whenever they want to work on those tasks. They don't have to hire someone and be stuck with someone in that position. Businesses, more than ever, are willing to work with freelancers and willing to work with freelancers wherever. Now, as a freelancer and as someone who coaches freelancers, I know that this is true. There's a great Forbes article from December 13th called "The Freelance Revolution Has a Supply Problem, Not a Demand Problem." The fact of the matter is that there are a lot of businesses out there who are looking to work with freelancers. Freelancing is very useful to a company. Now, at the same time, too, one of the comments on a post said something about like, oh yeah, I'll believe it when I see it. And I posted something, I think, in a story about watch where you're getting your information from. You want to be taking advice from people who are successful at what they're doing and not people who aren't successful at what they're doing. And I get it. There are people who are struggling at freelancing because they don't know how to go and find and land high-paying clients, because there are a ton of high-paying clients out there. But if you are relying on Upwork or Freelancer, or you're hoping that you're going to get referrals, or you're just kind of hoping that when you tell people you're freelance, clients are going to show up for you, then yeah, you're going to be struggling. I don't know what to tell you. There's no business that just kind of opens the door and goes, now we're going to have clients. That's just not how it works. Or now we're going to get customers. You have to have a system for finding and landing high-paying clients. And when you have that system, then yes, you are consistently working. And yes, you will make more than you would have on staff for doing those skills. Companies will pay more to work with freelancers than they would with people on staff. Why? Because they're paying for the flexibility. They also don't have to pay for all of the things that they have to pay for when they bring someone on staff. They don't have to pay for 401k or benefits or all that stuff, which you can get for yourself, by the way, as a freelancer, and get them cheaper. They don't have to be putting aside money for Social Security or all that kind of stuff. They don't have to pay for the electricity to keep the lights on for that one person in the office, which I know sounds silly, but that's how it all breaks down. It's per person. Companies will pay more. But so the person who commented on the post said something about like, oh yeah, well, Forbes doesn't know what they're talking about. Tell that to people who freelance in the Midwest or freelance in the South. Guys, you are not limited by where you are located, especially as a freelancer. And frankly, I mean, people are learning too on staff. If you work for a company, you're not limited anymore because a lot of companies are going to remote. But as a freelancer, you are not limited by your geographical location. You can work with clients all over the world. Your location has nothing to do with how much you can earn as a freelancer. I know that it is so tempting to view the world through our individual perspectives, right? Or what we've seen and what we've experienced so far. But there's so much more out there in the world. And I'm sorry, I get very fired up about this because I just want to be like, just because you haven't done it yet doesn't mean that it's not possible. If you didn't know how to drive a car, you might sit down behind a car and go, well, I don't know how to do this. This can't be done. Cars can't be driven. But if you knew how to drive a car, you'd sit down and go, oh yes, well, I take this step, and then I take this step, and then I take this step, and then I take this step. And then you drive a car. Well, yeah, of course, if you don't know how to do it, you haven't had success with it yet. But all you need is someone to teach you how to do it. There's nothing magical or mystical about finding freelance clients. It's just a system. It's just a matter of following steps. And no, it's not about sending out mass emails and just hoping that somebody will respond to you. That's not at all what it's about. They're steps, and they're strategic steps. And there are steps that are based on building relationships, not at throwing a bunch of stuff against the wall and hoping that something sticks. And it's also, these are proven steps. I'm not making this stuff up. These are systems that have worked for me for 20 years. These are systems that work. I've worked with thousands of freelance clients. I've coached thousands of students who are freelancers. It makes me so frustrated and so sad to see people automatically think, well, no, I've tried it and it hasn't worked. Or, well, I heard from so-and-so that it's really difficult. Or my uncle says it's really risky to be a freelancer. If there's one thing that I have learned in my 20 years as a freelancer, my 10 years as a digital business owner, it's don't only take advice from people who are successful at what you want to do. Because everybody has a ton of opinions. Everybody. Your best friend who has never been in a relationship that's lasted more than 2 months will have all kinds of advice about your marriage. Your Uncle Phil, who has never owned a business, will have all kinds of advice about you starting a business. Your cousin or some guy you knew in college who tried freelancing and didn't really know how to do it, so couldn't make it work, will have all kinds of opinions about freelancing. But that's not what you want. And those aren't the people to take advice from. If you're going to get into freelancing, and really you really should, even if you don't want to do it full time, it's so important to have freelancing as a part-time option, whether you want to make some extra cash or whether you just know you have something in case you get fired from your job. Let's be honest here, or in case you want to walk away from your job. I mean, how many of us have been in a job that we liked, and then our boss leaves, and we get a different boss and we can't stand this person, or they make changes to the way our job is, or they make changes to the company, and all of a sudden you are stuck. Freelancing, knowing how to freelance, means you don't have to be stuck. It means you are in control of your career and your income, and you can walk away whenever you want to and be fine. So my point is, a couple of points really. There's so much need for freelancers right now in every industry. Not just like, oh, well, they're only looking for freelance bookkeepers, or, oh, they're only looking for freelance graphic designers. No, in every industry, companies want to work with freelancers. And then part 2 of that is, when you start looking into freelancing, there are going to be a lot of people with a lot of opinions. And the people who are the loudest often are the people who don't know what they're talking about, or who haven't been successful at something. And because they haven't been successful at something, they believe that means that no one can be successful. And that's not how it works. Just because one guy wasn't able to do it doesn't mean the rest of the world isn't able to do it. Don't fall prey to that fallacy, because it's going to limit your life if you start listening to people who want to limit your life. Okay, so that's what I have for you. Please don't be afraid of freelancing. Please don't listen to the people who don't take advice from people who haven't been successful at what you want to do. Don't listen to them. Keep moving forward.